Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight and Matt Reeves' The Batman have been top contenders for Best Batman Movie since they were released, which has resulted in fans having heated debates over which film is the best Batman movie. So, which movie is the best? To even begin to answer that question, we first have to discuss the different arcs that each Batman undergoes in each movie, because they couldn't be more different. In this regard, Matt Reeves' Batman experiences the most common character arc, a positive and dynamic arc, whereas The Dark Knight sees Batman undergo a flat, static arc, choosing instead to focus on the world, i.e. Gotham, changing around him instead of the Batman character himself. Matt Reeves' The Batman contains the character arc that's the easiest to talk about because it's the most iconic and classic type of character arc. It's the positive, dynamic character arc. But what the hell does a positive, dynamic arc even mean? Well, a dynamic arc means that the character undergoing the arc changes internally and fundamentally. They learn lessons and are different by the end of the story than they were in the beginning of the story. This applies to Batman because he's a different character by the end of the movie than he is in the beginning of the movie. He's learned lessons and has changed. This character arc is also positive, because Batman learned a lesson that made him a better person instead of learning a lesson that would push him towards evil. Duh, he's a superhero. Batman's dynamic character arc is the centerpiece of The Batman. The arc is set up in the very beginning of the film, through Bruce's monologue. He worries that he's not making a difference for Gotham as much as he was hoping he would be, about 1 year into being Batman. Almost immediately after this, Batman says the classic, "I'm vengeance," line before brutally beating up some gangsters. This "I'm vengeance" line is a really important narrative through line throughout the film, because right now, Batman is a symbol of violence and fear. He's a symbol of vengeance, but that changes by the end of the movie, hence the dynamic character arc. There are moments in this film that reflect Batman's violent, vengeful outlook back at him through the lenses of criminals that he's accidentally inspired. Like during Batman's discussion with the Riddler, where Batman learns that the Riddler is basically a Batman fanboy. Or when a goon, yes, a goon, a henchman if you will, not any other meaning, quotes the "I'm vengeance" slogan directly back at Batman. It's through these moments that Batman realizes that he needs to be more than just vengeance, more than just a symbol of fear and violence for Gotham's underbelly. Thus, he becomes a symbol of hope for the people of Gotham, which culminates in Batman rescuing citizens from the aftermath of Riddler's attacks, instead of just beating up criminals. Also, as an aside, the cinematography in this shot is insane. The people that Batman's leading end up forming the bat symbol, which is just perfect for this character arc. Chef's kiss. If The Batman puts Batman through a positive, dynamic character arc, then The Dark Knight sees Batman undergo a flat or static character arc. Static arcs are defined by their characters undergoing little internal change, instead staying steadfast in their beliefs and convictions. Batman's arc in The Dark Knight is static because he doesn't fundamentally change. He's the same character by the end of the film that he is in the beginning, contributing to changing the world around him instead of vice versa. Sure, Batman sacrifices his reputation for the sake of Gotham at the end of the film, taking the fall for Harvey Dent's murdering spree, but Batman was always willing to sacrifice himself for the good of Gotham. We see this exactly during the press conference where Batman was fully intending on turning himself in before Harvey stole the chance from him earlier in the movie. Batman was always willing to sacrifice his reputation for the soul of Gotham, because this movie isn't really concerned with giving Batman an internal arc. Instead, Gotham changes around Batman. Gotham is the entity that undergoes the arc, not Batman. And this type of character arc works beautifully in a story like The Dark Knight, because the whole film is predicated on the ideological war for the soul of Gotham City, which is primarily influenced by the Joker, Harvey Dent, and Jim Gordon/Batman. That's the heart of the film instead of Batman's character arc, which is flat and static. If you want to hear me talk more in depth about how The Dark Knight functions like this as an ideological battleground over Gotham, there will be a video linked at the end of this one, which you can watch, if you're cool like that. In The Dark Knight, the way Batman is perceived changes, but that is once again a component of Gotham and Gotham's perception of Batman changing, not a component of Batman himself changing internally. Because there's no dynamic arc for this character. And that's okay, because, like I said, Batman's character arc isn't the focus of The Dark Knight, which is why a flat, static arc works well for him in this movie. It's also probably why people say that The Batman is the better Batman movie, while The Dark Knight is the better overall film, which is a perfectly respectable take that I personally more or less buy into. So, The Dark Knight is a film about the change that Gotham and its soul undergoes, while The Batman is a movie about the arc and changes that Batman himself undertake. So, which one is better? These two movies have been the top contenders for best Batman films since they came out, so it's a fair question. But it's also a question you have to answer for yourself. Do you prefer the internal journey and character arc Batman experiences in the gritty Gotham that Matt Reeves portrays in The Batman? Or do you prefer the interconnected war of themes and ideologies that Christopher Nolan orchestrated in The Dark Knight? There's no wrong answer here. Both movies are fantastic and have different, unique qualities that are strong. Let me know which film you prefer and why in the comments. Anyway, I'm a YouTuber, so you probably know what I want. Do the like, comment, subscribe things if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Bye!